Did we lose somebody? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're good. Okay, well, today is January 11th, 2022. It's our first meeting of 2022 for the Papa board, and we'll bring it to order at 6:05 p.m. Roll call. I see Charlie, I see Darian, I see Maxwell. Charlie is gone. I'm sure he'll be back. And from the public is Brendan Meyer. Charlie's back. You can all hear me. Yes. I just want to, once Charlie gets back connected, we'll
I'm here.
Adopt the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
This is Charlie. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
So moved to adopt the agenda.
Okay. Do we have to have a second? I always forget in this one.
I second it.
Okay. And then do we vote? I'm always taking notes. I'm never paying attention.
You can just ask for unanimous consent.
Okay. Oh yeah. What's the line? Man.
Anyone disagrees?
If anyone, yeah, we'll have unanimous consent unless anyone disagrees. Okay. See, hearing no disagreements, we're adopting the agenda. And then the minutes from last month. Everybody get a chance to look at those? Or have any questions? Okay. Let's have a motion to adopt the minutes.
Charlie, I move to adopt the minutes.
And a second. This is hard when we have a small group.
Yes, seconded.
Second is Maxwell. And I don't know if I can second things. I don't know if I can send out motions. I know at one point somebody said I couldn't. I sit on another board where somebody does. The president or the chair does. So maybe we can iron that out later. But okay, using unanimous consent, does anybody object to this? Hearing nothing. All right. We've adopted the minutes from last month. Community comments. We have one person from the public, Mr. Brendan Meyer. Do you have anything you want to say?
No comments, but
no comments.
Looking forward to seeing where Papa goes this year. So thank you guys so much for all you do.
Thanks for joining us, our one and faithful participant from the public. All right, moving on to item 6, chair report. It's been a busy 11 days already. I have had a meeting with one of our 2 members, Dr. Smith, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I have had discussions with KSQM, the EDC, City Sequim, and I have an angle into Forks and the county that I need to follow up on, and the library I really need to follow up on. I keep forgetting to email them. So on the programming front, I think, and really just the partnership front, we're making progress. And then there's just been a lot going on, just kind of getting things handed over and transition with figuring out all the things that Eric was doing. And also I've had many conversations with Arthur just prior to the new year about Papa and what it did and what maybe it should do in the future. So that's all I have for a chair report at the moment. I really I dropped a lot of the things that are going on in further down. So anybody else have any questions?
I have a question. You said you met with the doctor?
Oh, Dr. Ralph Smith. He's, yeah, yeah. He makes a show. I'm blanking on the name of it at the moment, but he produces, I think his goal is to produce 6 a year. Oh, waiting on host. I'm sorry, Arthur. Sorry, Arthur. I gotta figure out how to turn that one off. Arthur has now come to the meeting, so we'll just let that be noted. Yeah, Dr. Smith he was interested to see where Papa was going, and he was one of the founding members of the channel and the organization. So he had lots of questions about what our goals were for the future and about his content and what we were going to be doing with it. And I assured him that we were happy to be airing it, and we appreciated that he was a paying member. And yeah, but I was going to say that later, but I'll just say it now. Yeah, so just to catch you up quickly, Arthur, I was just telling everybody about all the stuff that's been happening. It's only January 11th. So next item, we'll move on if everybody's okay with that, unless there's any other questions. No. Item number 7, Treasury Report. Charlie, do you have anything to?
I do, yeah, it was, well, did you guys get all the financials I sent? I just sent them to the Papa's board here. A lot of people haven't probably looked at them, but I did go by the post office and renew our PO box for another year. I got that bill. I also went by Wave Cable and talked to them. Apparently our bill is going to someone's email address. So what I was getting was just an overdue bill from August 2020, and that's the only thing, the money I was applying. So she's going to start sending me a paper bill. We're up to date. I mean, but she got us all up to date when I went in there and talked to her. But I kept getting a revolving bill from August of 2020 that was overdue. But we got that all caught up. I'll now get paper bills from Wave. I got the accountant paid $2,800 for helping with the financials, and she said we have another bill en route, which she would be sending out. I think it was Monday. So we should send that soon.
And that one's for 2019. So we'll be paying for 2020 here soon.
Yeah. So if anybody knows of any bills or receipts that are going directly to an email that is not a Papa email, I really need to get copies of those receipts because there's still automated payments going through the checkbook or the register that I don't even know what they are. I mean, I can figure them out, you know, but I would like to have receipts to put in the so-called vault of the QuickBooks. So
did they give you information as to what email it's going to?
well, I don't know because all I see is a transaction in the account. Like the Amazon Prime, I don't know if anyone's getting a receipt for that, or the Amazon, you know, who gets the receipt for that, or if
Well,
that's
I
just,
would assume the Amazon was set up by Shauna, I believe, Shauna or Eric. So one of them two should have that information.
okay. Okay, I'll just ask them to start forwarding the Papa board or to me, unless I have access to the Papa board. I mean, hell, we would see the emails if it went to Papa board, so it must be going to one of them. So I'll reach out to one of them and ask them to start forwarding them to me. So
Well, I wouldn't ask them to start forwarding it. I would ask them
the
to
login
for the credentials and then
Yeah.
change it.
to me. I got you. I got you. But I just need that information, so I'll reach out to them to get that this month. Other than that, we're all caught up, and I sent the financials to the board online email. So unless anybody has any questions.
I didn't get an email with those. Did everybody else get one?
I wasn't seeing one either.
Do you know what email address you sent it to, Charlie?
papaboardonline.tv. Papaboard at papaonline.tv.
Okay.
It was only like 30 minutes before the meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I haven't maybe I should refresh.
I think I sent it twice. Sorry. I think I may have sent it twice each.
That's okay. Oh, here's a problem. Yes, I see it. Okay. Awesome.
We're all caught up. When do we get our first check from the city?
You know, that is a great segue into my next
Okay.
thing. First of all, the 2019 and 2020 annual reports, I finished those. I've got everything over to Greg King. I emailed Greg King and I asked him, have you received everything? Do you have everything you need? Where do we stand? Crickets. So maybe Charlie, you could follow up internally and ask, hey, did you get everything? but I feel like we have fulfilled our obligations that they've asked us. And I went through all those checkpoints that he said and made sure we complied, and have also kickstarted our financial overview with the accountant for 2021. So I imagine that they'll have that done end of January, as long as there's no big issues that we have to kind of remedy. So, and
I'll
then,
reach out to him. I'll reach out to him and Nathan tomorrow.
okay. And then I can work on putting together the annual report for 2021, and we'll get that. We have until April, so we're fine there. I also, in all this back and forth with the accountant, discovered that we can be potentially be filing a tax return. What is it called? It's called a simple 990, which means we don't have to use an accountant because we're under the threshold that nonprofits, if you earn less than, I think it's 50,000 or something, you can just file a simple 990, and then it's basically a postcard that you send to the IRS. So we're going to try to go that route. I've got some information because we have been doing the easy 990. We have to like notify them that things have changed, and it may be easier in the long run just to stick with the easy 990. But that was something. It'd be $680 less that we would spend this year on taxes. So if that happens, back to the agenda. Yeah. Okay. Financial report. Do we want to, somebody want to put a motion forward to accept that? And
I didn't get a copy, so I
okay.
if you want to send it over, I can glance at it.
It,
Otherwise,
it came in an email from Intuit. So I don't know. It just came an hour ago at 5:14 to Papa Board at papaonline.tv.
yeah, the last email I have it shows as from you. Can you try forwarding it to me?
Yeah.
All right, now I got it.
Did you send it, Charlie, or did I? You're on mute.
I just sent it to him.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Take a little minute, look at that. We'll come back. Actually,
All right, well, it looks good to me. So I'll make a motion to accept the financial treasury report as presented.
I'll second. I'll second that. And then using unanimous consent, if anyone is not in favor of this, please say so. Okay, hearing nothing, that passes unanimously. And we'll move on to item number 8, facilities. To start out, Darian, do you have anything you want to say?
Nothing new really. There's still some of the old stuff to work on, and I haven't really been down there for a little bit, so.
That's fine. I do want to maybe by March have that hot water tank in, hopefully. So we'll work towards that.
Do we have a sheet with everyone's contact info so that I'm not necessarily sure who currently I should reach out to be able to go purchase the water heater itself? This has been kind of a finding time with everyone and being in communication has been
I have the debit card. If you want me to meet you anytime at Thurman's on the weekend or something, or wherever you plan on, Home Depot, wherever you want to get it.
Okay.
Or I can hand it over if it's okay with everyone. If I can just give him the debit card to use and bring it back to me, or I can meet him there, whatever the board approves.
Whatever's easier.
So one, let's check to see if the debit card's got a name on it, or does it say verify ID? If it doesn't, then there shouldn't be an issue going to pick it up if it just says Papa on there. Just make sure you bring the receipt back with you.
So it does have Shauna's name, and that is something we're gonna have to remedy
Yeah. Okay.
this weekend when we go to the bank.
Yeah.
So, or Friday.
Yeah. Friday.
Okay. We don't have to deal with it right now, Darian. Maybe we'll talk about it next meeting and then make a plan.
Okay.
Did I hear you say we're gonna meet at the bank on Friday?
Yeah,
I think,
we're gonna shoot for Friday after I get done from work.
Okay.
That's kind of a moving target because based on my load. So once I'm done
Sure.
with the load is when I leave. So I'll give you guys like a notice of when I'm done. That way it'll give you like an hour and a half leeway.
Great. All right. Sorry
Great.
to interrupt you, Darian.
That's okay. I can save it, and that's about all for the moment. So I will once that is taken care of with the card, I will work on finding a time and setting up with Charlie to go pick up the water heater and get it down there.
Yeah. Otherwise, I have one as well. So if you wanted to swing by either this weekend or earlier, I can meet you after work. If I have a heads up of when, more or less in the afternoon or evening, I can either meet you at Home Depot or at Thurman's because I have a card as well.
Okay. I don't know if I have your number or anything.
I will send out a sheet with all our contact info. I have a board contact sheet that I made as part of our annual report for the city, and I will just send that out to the board.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so Arthur had been checking on the building. What was it, like 3 weeks ago, maybe? And there was big homeless presence out on the ramp and everything. I don't know exactly. Arthur called the police. The police came. They suggested that we take some remedies to fix the situation. There's a lot of back and forth, included the city, included who else, PBH and stuff like that. And through the course of lots of emails, I did reach out to 4PA, which is a new organization in Port Angeles that's working to clean up public spaces. It's citizen-run, nonprofit. And they have expressed a lot of interest in helping us try to maintain around the building. And they have already done a bunch of cleanups. It's still an ongoing battle. I was there today and having to step around people and ask people to move. And so, but the more people down there, the better. And in talking to Joe, who's the founder of 4PA, he was wondering if we would be open to him storing some of his volunteer gear in the first floor of the pop-up building. So I said I would bring this to the board and ask if they're okay with it. And if we are, we could draw up an MOU that just so we're all on the same page and we know what we're all agreeing to. But this would mean that they would have some stake in that. They would be there more often. They are actually in the process of writing up a proposal to the city to ask them about fencing off that entire parking lot and even fencing off the ramp and everything and having it like controlled access into the building. So in a way, I think it's great for us to team up and try to work with the city to find a solution here because it's not getting any better. And it's something that's, I think we need help with. Open for discussion.
So what is it that they're looking to store?
Like buckets, vests, picker-upper things, gloves, things that their volunteers use in the cleanup process. He said it's nothing big. It would be like the small corner of the area. Okay, Brendan said he's just getting feedback. Maybe if we could mute if you're not talking. Thank you. So that's we can have more clarification if you want, but I think it sounds pretty minimal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so concerned with the items if it's just small things, but I am concerned about having other people access to the building. It does provide a security concern, having other people having access code, which would then be the same to both levels. That could be changed, but From a liability standpoint, again, this is not, I would say, unless we're covered by insurance and the insurance permits it, I would be hesitant to grant any permissions right off the bat. A workaround might be maybe if they wanted to bring some sort of a storage device, temporarily bolt it to the ramp or something, that would be something I would be okay with. But without insurance giving us an okay, I would be hesitant to move forward on that right away.
So I do think that we could change. I would say we have to change the code to get down on the first floor if we were to do this, so it's separate from the top. I would also be in favor of removing anything of value, of significant value in the first floor, to kind of protect that angle. I'm in favor of them using like one of those little rooms that are just sitting empty there, to store some stuff. And I think in the MOU, we can spell out that, we would prefer that only people that are part of 4POP or 4PA that, like Joe or somebody, have access to it. And we can probably stipulate that it's not just anyone that can go in there, and that they don't share that. But we do have to work on keeping, well, Charlie and I have also been talking about, maybe we need to significantly clean out that first floor of some of the stuff that's in there, like all the Christmas stuff and random pieces of technology that are outdated that are sitting on shelves and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. I'm honestly, I would be a little bit hesitant though for the storage. I mean, I have a little bit of trouble understanding why, if it's volunteer based, why the volunteers can't just have it with them stored in their vehicles or at home and bring it when they do it. I'm not in favor for that at the moment.
my understanding is that the volunteers rotate, and so that 4PA has a kit of volunteer stuff. If you come volunteer, then they say, here you go, here's the things that you need to help us clean up, and that can change. And right now the volunteer stuff is being stored in people's garages that are who knows where in PA, and they're hoping to find a centralized meeting point for people, and they would love to be able to have like that park / the pop-up building as one of those places.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, without knowing who the people are, having like a background check and doing a lot more due diligence, I'm really not in favor at the moment of this. I just have too many concerns. Even if we're going to change the code, that's one thing. But unfortunately, I think that we would need to have a little bit more background. Who's coming in? Who, what precautions do they have for knowing who the volunteers are? At the moment, I'm just not in favor of it.
Anybody else?
What really is the value in the bottom floor? The concern.
Well, at the moment, we have part of our security system set up downstairs, so that's one thing. In terms of valuables, there really isn't that much, from what I can recall, being down there other than the other part of our security system that monitors the lower floor. But again, it's not so much, it's more so of the liability that's concerned. Having access, there's a level of detail that we would need to really scrutinize and understand and make sure we're okay with our liability, or with our insurance for liability. This is a separate entity. Having agreements is one thing, but having the due diligence has to be done first and foremost before we were able to really allow for anything like that.
Yeah, I think I agree. We should check with our insurance to see if there's any issues there. I've never seen anything security related downstairs. What is it?
There's well, I mean, I don't know if we should be discussing it on.
Okay, we can talk about it offline. Yeah, that's fine.
I can send that out to the board, but needless to say, it's part of our security.
Yeah, and the other thing we can do, just because I don't know all the answers, and I too was a little bit concerned, and I called Joe and asked him, like, so what are you actually thinking? And after talking to him, I'm like, okay, I think this is a win-win, but we could bring Joe to a meeting, or I could have him write something to the board in an email and just further explain what's going on and how this would help him and how he would help us keep the building safe.
Yeah, again, the simplest solution might end up really being is if they wanted to find some sort, again, depends on how much equipment they have, right? How much square footage does it take up? Would it not suffice for them to have, say, like a lockable storage container that's bolted to the bottom of the ramps where the homeless people sleep in by that concrete pad, and just stuff that with a storage device that also eliminates a spot from the homeless and drug addicts to shelter and use anyway, so it might be better off to kill two birds with one stone and just allow them to bring some sort of storage containment, whether it's a portable little shed or one of those like chests, like a tool chest, and they just bolt in. That might be a better way, and also providing one less space for the homeless to be in. So maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be access to the building itself, but some sort of storage idea.
Yeah, I can take that back to him and see if that's something that would work. Anybody else have any thoughts, concerns?
I do like your idea of having him give us an email too of what involved.
I will go back to Joe and give him a report and see what else we can figure out.
But Duke, I would say convey to him that we are interested in working with them, and we do appreciate any interest in them wanting to help us out. I think that is fantastic, and I would love for them to be partnered up with us, especially if they're wanting to help out around the park and Papa. I think that's fantastic, and that's welcome. We just have to really figure it out a little bit more in the detail, I would think.
Okay. Moving on. Unless anybody has any other questions about facilities, there is a hole, not a hole, but I noticed that there's more water coming in the far front left corner. The bucket is almost full. I need to go back and empty it tomorrow. And some of the roof tile fell in. So I don't know if that was one of the places you found. I know, Arthur, you're talking about around the skylights and stuff. This seems to
there was
be
a couple of skylight seams that were questionable. However, honestly, I'd have to go in there now that you said there's a couple pieces of the tile missing. It would kind of help to be able to look up, because I know I believe it's a concrete
ceiling.
Thank you. That might be easier to trace if I can see, the water stain where it's coming in from. So.
Yeah, if you don't mind, maybe sometime just check in it. It's in the front left in the studio. There's a bucket. It's a 5-gallon bucket that's nearly full of water.
Okay.
And so I had never noticed it
either
until
Thursday
today.
or Friday. After
Okay.
we meet or Thursday, 'cause tomorrow I have my son, so I won't be able to make it tomorrow.
No worries. Okay. Thanks. Okay, moving on. Item number 9, programming. I took out, just so you know, I took out the committees for now because we always skip over them. I don't think they need to be talked about until we actually are doing committee type work. But there are some major things that we do need to kind of talk about and report every month, and some of that is facilities, programming, social media, membership, stuff like that. So programming, I managed to work with the EDC, and they have a weekly talk show called Coffee with Colleen. We were going to be now cross-posting that on Facebook with them, and also airing it on in the mornings on channel 21 on I think it's like maybe once or twice a week. There is I've also been talking to KSQM, which is a radio station, nonprofit community media radio station in Sequim, and they are super interested in potentially providing content. They have all kinds of interesting interview sessions that are going on in their studio that are always just going out on the radio. And I said, what if we maybe do a pilot and see what it looks like on camera? And maybe there's a way we can kind of partner, and we can help you build the capacity to film these and give us kind of final versions. So this week, I'm actually going to film there when Dr. Barry and Mark Ozias, Commissioner Ozias, are being interviewed on the radio. And we're going to put that together and see what it looks like and try it out and maybe air it, depending on how things go. Yeah, I think it's an awesome way to kind of partner with another community media station, and they have a amazing network of volunteers and listeners. And the one thing that they really wanted us to do was, how can we go together on a billboard? I said, well, we're not there yet, but maybe we can build that capacity together that we can afford a billboard. So I wasn't going to turn down any ideas. I don't know if Anthony's going to make it. I've been working with City of Sequim a little bit to get their city council meeting file, so we can run that on a bi-monthly or whenever. We'll run it as often as we can. That makes sense. So, and Anthony was going to come and talk to us about that tonight, but he's very busy, so I understand if he didn't make it. The county, I talked to somebody earlier this week that said the county has put a ton of money into a new AV system, and I'm trying to find out more about that and what that actually entails and how that could work out, that we could share their content. I actually mapped out all the different things that they have going on in their chambers or wherever they're broadcasting this stuff. This month alone, there were like 19 meetings or something that would been potential, from commission meetings to lectures to, it was really, really cool stuff. So, and then Forks, I finally got a name, somebody to talk to in Forks I want to reach out to this week. And I also spent an hour with Eric learning more about programming, and I will be taking over programming in an interim basis until we can kind of figure out a better system going forward and how to maybe share some of that burden. I'm hoping that some of these partnerships with maybe the college or something, we can also kind of broaden how we're doing it. So social media, item number 10. Oh, does anybody have any other questions about programming?
No, I was just curious as to more so how the working with Eric to go over that went, and if that was helpful enough and information-wise to create that SOP we had discussed previously, so that way if someone was interested or was wanting to help out, could.
Yeah, so I kind of recorded our session, and my goal is to create like a guide, a programming how-to guide. And so Eric and I are going to sit down on Saturday again, or this Sunday, and do it again. And I'm going to watch him / maybe participate a little bit. There were still some hurdles that I'm not even able to get on at the moment because we didn't know how to access the VNC. He knows, like, he has it all automatic, but when it came down to like, okay, well, how do I get on it from my computer? And we couldn't get there. So we're still working on that. But yeah, that is exactly what I'm working towards, Arthur, is to create something, a resource that we don't have to get into this situation where somebody's struggling to learn how to program, and it's all kind of out there in the ether. So yeah, okay. Anything else? There's tons of opportunity for content. Oh yeah, today alone I fielded a request from the people who do Tasting the Peninsula. They have a show running in the Bremerton Peg Station, and they asked if we were open to running it up here. I said absolutely. They've actually this year done I think 3 venues in Clallam County, and I said I think that makes a lot of sense. We can air it once or twice a month. They asked for Thursday at 7, which I didn't. There's not really any conflict. I think we just run TVW then. So, or I don't know. I have to go look. It would go on 120. 120. So I have to see if there is a big conflict, but I don't think there is. So
just a question on that. Did you ask them to join a membership to do the airing? Because we're technically supposed to, air only member stuff unless it's something that we acquire, like for paid.
To be honest, Arthur, right now I just want to get content. We will go there at some point, but I'm not going to turn down opportunities for content at this moment because nobody else is paying us. Democracy Now! Is not paying us. TVW is not paying us. I don't see why actual content that's being made on the peninsula about our community, we should say, oh, because you're not a member, we can't air it.
No, I get that. I'm just saying to try and boast the membership, you know, to get people involved. It would be great if we at least had that discussion with them, saying yes, and you know, normally we would require it, but you know.
Yeah, and I'm happy to bring that up, and that's something that I think there are definitely strategies to bolstering our membership and things that I'm working on, but I'm not going to turn down the opportunity for content that is local and that I can go back to City PA and say, yes, we are delivering local content. So, yeah, they reached out to us like last year and nobody got back to them. So I was just digging through an email and realized, oh, look at that.
I think it's great. I just want to make sure that we have that conversation to try and bring them into the organization, not just run.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I want to actually do a little more research and see like what is your agreement with Bremerton? Like, are you paying them something? Are they paying you something? And I'm actually gonna try to go and sit in at the end of the month on the Thurston community media board meeting to see kind of how they run things and probably ask a few questions. Yeah, but I agree. We got to try to work on membership, but content is also another thing that is desperately needed, local content. So, okay, social media. I'm just starting to try to work on the social media plan where we highlight things that are coming down the pike on the channel, where we cross post people's things that are about the peninsula, things that are, I think, interesting and in line with our mission, especially when it comes to like transparency or government or other things like the library has content that they're putting out there. I think it would be good to promote. So, but I think in order to do that in a easy way, we have to have a plan developed. I'm not gonna be able just to every day think, oh, what am I gonna post on the Papa Media or Papa Facebook page? So, but I just want to let you know that hopefully going forward this month, we'll start to see more posts because I think that's important. We have a great base. We have like 1,000 people following us in Facebook and we're just mostly silent. So if anybody's interested in helping with that, just let me know and we can work on kind of a plan together. So
I'd be open to helping with that.
okay, awesome, Darren. Thanks. Okay. Any other questions about social media?
I don't have any questions, but I would say we'll probably have to also do the change for admins and take off previous board members and then change admin and posting rights so that way current board members can. That would probably help out with social media outreach for posts. If there's anything relevant to Papa or the community, then we can just, you know, post it that way.
Yeah, that sounds great. I can go through and reorganize who's on there. Okay, so 11 membership. I had a meeting with Dr. Smith. He called me, wanted to know what was going on. And I just figured I put membership here because if we interact with members, I think it's important to talk about what we're hearing, what concerns we're hearing, what they want to see, how they feel about the organization. And he did say he wanted to know and wanted to make sure that we were okay and asked if there's anything he could do. And I said, make content. That's one of the number one things that we need right now. I said, and try to inspire other people to make content. And we appreciate that you are supporting us as a paying member. And you know, I think he's excited about some of the things that we're going to be doing, and still excited about Papa. So I just wanted to bring that up. We still are at, as far as I know, and then I got to figure this out. Where we keep our member list and where our email list is and things like that. So Arthur, do you know?
As far as I remember, there was a paper copy, but I believe on the D drive, there should be a digital copy of former members.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think there should be a copy there. If not, there should be at the very least a paper copy of the former members in hard copy and somewhere in storage.
Okay,
But
I'll take a look in that area. I just didn't like, I don't know where those records get kept. So, and
most of
can-
it is inside the file cabinet. But Elizabeth tended to have everything copied into electronic format. So I know that there was a section on the drive that had the membership scanned into it.
okay. I mean, Elizabeth hasn't been here for over a year, and Eric
we-
hasn't really been in the building. So
Yeah, and
I
we
just
really
wanna-
haven't had very much of new or renewals. So anything that's relevant would be still there.
okay. Well, I mean, renewals have come in since then. So I'll ask Eric. Okay. Old business. Moving on to number 12, old business. Yeah, our annual report. All that stuff is in. So we're just waiting to hear back confirmation from the city. And then that entail, as Charlie astutely pointed out, what does that mean going forward for payments? So I think Charlie's going to follow up and figure out where that's at.
When did we typically get payments in the past? Every quarter?
Yes. Yes. And yeah, okay. Moving on to 13, new business, unless anybody has any more questions about annual report, old business. No. Okay. 13,
Actually, I one
Go ahead.
question. Did you get a digital copy
of what?
of the report?
Oh yeah, I have a whole digital copy that I submitted to them. Like basically they wanted like in bits and pieces. They wanted certain kinds of information. I just basically turned it all over.
Okay. If you have a digital copy, maybe send it out to the board just for the rest of us to look over and just to be.
And I've sent out most of the elements to the board. But I'll package it all together so you can see.
Yeah, if you
2019, 2020, and then some of the other things that they asked for. So, okay. And then new business, I'm gonna work on making updates to the website because it's sorely out of date. So, and I'm just learned how to get onto it today, and I need to talk to the guy who runs it, which I just learned about. So, where doesn't run it, he just manages our domain basically. So, and then Anthony wasn't able to attend, so we won't be talking about municipal transparency. So does anybody else have anything they want to discuss here at the end of the meeting?
I have a question, but it would be following the meeting. There would be more of a, not executive, but behind closed doors. So if after the meeting we have a quick follow-up on a previous topic, I do
Sure,
have,
sure.
yeah.
Okay. We can do that. Anybody have any announcements? All right. Well, this is awesome. We are in at the end. I'm going to adjourn. It is 6:49. And that is the end of the pop-up board meeting. Thanks for attending. Good night. For those of you who are not part of this meeting or who are public.